Now I will be talking about all of those methodologies, all of those SDLC methodologies what are considered while working in a project development. We actually follow SDLC, but still there are few models with little flexibilities, with little changes. What makes them all different with each other? Let us see what are they. So different methodologies of SDLC. One is waterfall. Second one, iterative or incremental. Third one, spiral, fourth, V-shape. Fifth is Big Bang. The trend, I'm emphasizing on this. The most important and the latest trend, which is agile. There is RAD also, RAD 8, adaptive AAD, adaptive application development. These are the main 8 methodologies. Waterfall, iterative or incremental, spiral, V-shape, Big Bang, agile, RAD and AD. RAD means rapid application development. AAD means adaptive application development. While talking about waterfall, it means waterfall, the basic SDLC model, requirement gather, then analysis, and the design, code, test, deploy. All these 6 steps will come in an waterfall model. This, then that, then the next one, similar like waterfall. And as you know, waterfall, this approach will be only from top to bottom, not bottom to top. It means once we complete this step, the requirement gathering, then only we can move on to the next step. If this is not completed fully, or this is left, not fully done, then we cannot move on to the analysis part. Similarly, if analysis is not done properly, then we cannot move on to the design step. If design is not done, we cannot move on to the code. If not code, then not test. If not test, then not deploy. This is the actual workflow in a waterfall model. First, requirement will be gathered from the client, or the business requirement documents will be prepared. All those BDD, PDD, SRS, all those documents will be generated. Then the design work start, then coding. If any of the work left in this stage, we cannot move on to the next design stage. This is the basic difference. This is the main theme of waterfall model. When to apply this model is suitable for small projects, and the project span or time span, it takes less time to build. When the project is very small, let's say a 5-page web application, or a simple application which is very small, then we would apply this waterfall model and so as the project is small, it would take less time to develop. So, and one more constraint is here, that is the requirement part. The requirement must be clear. If the requirement is not clear, if the business requirement, or if there is no clarity in the client's mind what he actually want to build, then it would be very difficult to implement this model, because at first, let's say there are three features, 1 2 3, and following these three features we are actually process these three stages, and now we are on the coding stage, and we are coding accordingly to this, according to these features. And now if the client or if the business requirement changes, the client's requirement changes, let's say there are more two features being added, then what, then we again have to redo all these things, which is not possible, because this is a waterfall model, we cannot get back to previous stage. So this would be a pain. So in these cases, either the requirement cannot be changed, or if there is any possibility of changing the requirements in the future, then we cannot implement this model. We need to make sure first. So this was about the waterfall model. Then iterative or incremental model. First, the requirement will be gathered. It will be analyzed also, but the twist begins. This will be branched up to n. Build 1, build 2, build 3, and up to build n. What does it mean? It means in iterative model, first the client's requirements or business requirements will be gathered. They will be analyzed further, but rather than adding all of those features together at once, we would first create the smallest prototype of that project. It means the first working model of that project, which is also known as prototype. So let's say there are features 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to n, and there is no surety that the features will not be extended in the future, because for most of the cases, for 93 to 96% of cases, the client's requirements or the business requirements keep changing throughout the project development. So let's say we have features, right now we have features up to 5 or n, let's say n. Okay, now our duty after the requirement gathering and analysis, remember that tell us all those things will be done. After that, build 1 will be done. We would proceed for creating the build 1. How to do that? How to achieve that? That is, we would first start slow. We would start small. Let's say we are designing for only 2 features, and only combining those 2 features we are creating the first working prototype, that is build 1, and it takes, let's say it takes 2 weeks or 3 weeks. After that, either we can deliver that incomplete project to the client, and we can come in a contract that every 3 months or 4 months or whatever time it takes, we would be integrating your all those features in your applications from now. After a few time, when working on the other features, we would just, let's say this is the build 1 and the project is X. Next time we have worked on the feature 3 and 4, and we add the 3 and 4 feature to the X, which becomes Y. After, let's say this is after 2 months, and again adding 3 features or 4 features, this becomes Z. Z. Let's say this is after 3 months. Again, the client requirements might be changed. Few things could be removed, requested for removal. The things keep changing, and until the client or the company is being satisfied with all the requirements and all the purpose, the main purpose of the project is achieved, until that time there will be iterations, 4, 5, 6 up to build n, and no one knows how much time this would take. This could take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and the thing keeps going on. The good point, the good side of this model is when the requirement is not known, when there is no proper clarity of the requirements, when the client is not sure what is going to build, what he wants actually, then this model is good, because we can start very small. We can, let's say the client is talking about mainly 3 features, but he has lot of features in his mind, but 3 features are for sure. Then we are making a build for using that 3 features, integrating only those 3 features. Then the client, then we would show this X project, that is the first prototype, to the client, and he will either he would say to add more features or to remove 1 or 2 features. So the thing like this keeps going on. The negative side is that this is suitable for big projects, not for small projects, because this would take a longer time. Larger projects and long procedure, it would if both are combined, it would generally take more time to develop. But the good thing is that the requirement is, if the requirement is not clear, then this model is very good. And this is this would take, if as this process is very long, it is very general, that is very natural that the company, the IT company who are making this project using this model, they would charge a larger amount. They would ask you for more money. This is basically suitable for corporate and big projects. Let's see what are the other models. Oh, so what is actually iteration and what is increment? Okay, I forgot to tell these things. Again, I'm drawing this. Well, so I'm starting from the requirement analysis. So when working on the build 1 up to build n, each of the builds, these are called iterations, like a for loop. You set the index value to 0, then increment that, then just give a condition like when index is smaller than 3, and the increment should be by 1, using that post increment operator I++. It means that the for loop will be looped for 3 times. Similarly, all of these attempts of generating the project builds, these are all called iterations, and the features we are integrating throughout the development of builds, all of those integrations, they are known as increment. First we had 2 features, then we added more 2 or 3 features. So those last 2-3 features which are being added, they are known as increments or incremental features, whatever you say. What is spiral? Spiral, it is actually similar like iterative or incremental. The only difference is that it will not create different branch or separate branches or separate build versions. In iterative, we were seeing something like this, but for in case of spiral, this would work like this, or finish or deliver. The total SDLC process, whatever the stages are involved in the SDLC, we have seen earlier, all applies to the spiral model. First requirement gathering, then will be proper planning, analysis, design, coding, testing, and like all performing all those stages, we would come to the finishing point. The only difference between iterative and spiral is that in iterative we had to create different branches of build versions, but in this case we're actually starting small. This means we are starting with 2 features, but when we are adding features, let's say this is a full cycle. This is, as I said, this is a requirement gathering, then design, then code, then test, then finish. This is completing one cycle. After that, we contact to the client, and we would display him the project. He would do a alpha testing. Alpha testing means when the testing from company side is done, then the client side testing will start, and the first test which the client performs, that is alpha testing. So he would perform alpha testing, and after alpha testing, if he tells that I need more features, you need to add more features then, or functionalities, then we will again go for another cycle. By this thing will be round and round and round. This thing would keep going. Let's say he wants to add more features. Again, this will come up to this point and finish, adding up those 2 features. Again, if he wants to add more 3 features, again this will go and complete a full cycle and finish up here. So there is only one branch that will keep going in a spiral form. And one more thing, that when working on build 1, you can also work on build a dedicated team for build 2 can work on build 2. Let's say one team is working for build 1, another team is dedicated for this build 2, and both of the development work is going parallel. But in this case there is no such chance, because only one branch is going in spiral form, and this is more complex than this thing, because this is going in spiral form, and if the project is very big, and if the requirements are not clear, then this thing would go even more harder. This thing would go even more complex and harder. So when the requirement is not known, it is always advised to use either iterative or prototype model. In case of iterative, the client requirement is not clear, or the business requirement is not clear, which is okay, because we would be adding the features as the time goes on. But when talking about spiral, okay, we are starting with 2 features, but as the time goes on, there would be more cycles we have to perform. If the client says I only need 5 features, it means that there is a clarity. He is sure about these 5 features and the business requirement is clear. then we can achieve all of those 5 features in one cycle only. Within one cycle, it is possible to achieve these 5 features. Not only 5, even it is possible to achieve 50 features. But if it is not clear, if he is changing his mind over time, if he is saying after completing 5 or 50, adding 5 or 50 features, if he is saying no, I need more 2 features, or I need to remove 3 or 4 features, then we need to perform again the whole cycle, and this thing keeps going harder. So this is not for those projects where the requirements are not clear. V-shape is similarly like waterfall model but with more discipline. Like this V. Why V? Because first is requirement gathering, then analysis, then design, then comes to coding, and coding is the bridge here because this part ends here like this, and from coding the another part starts. For design there will be unit test. If the design part is divided, I have not divided. If I had to divide this design, this would be definitely one is main module design, and the other one is sub module or child module design. So as I have not divided the design, I took it as a whole. I am also taking this as a whole, unit test and integration test, then analysis test, then requirement and requirement test or acceptance test. This is the V model or V methodology of SDLC, where first the requirement will be gathered, that will be analyzed, will be further processed for the design, and the coding will be started. And after the coding, after coding we will get the build. So what happened earlier, when we had that build, we had to perform testing. That's what we are doing here, but in V manner. I could also write it down, but this would go up. Unit test, then integration test. Integration test means if the modules are working together properly, that goes for integration test. Then and there will be a communication between these. Analysis, what does it mean? It means after coding, the testing department will be working on the integration test and unit test, and they will directly contact with the design team if there is any problem. Similarly goes for analysis. Is there anything wrong in this test, they would directly contact to the analysis team. Acceptance test, they would also contact to the requirement this team. It means the business analyst team, whoever performed the telos earlier. Now the Big Bang. What is the Big Bang? Big Bang is the least disciplinary model, the model with the least and very much unorganized model. Without any discipline, there is no proper way, no proper process, or no well-defined rules. If you are working with Big Bang means you have to come up with some project. You want to say that yes, I want to build this app. Okay, you want to build that old what I was using as an application, as an example, cab booking application. If I'm talking about, let's say I want to build a cab booking application. That's what I know. I don't know about the features. What do I need? How much time it will require? How much fun? but I have both of them. I have plenty amount of time and I have plenty amount of money or fund. So I come up with some IT agency, development agency. I tell them that I don't know what I want to build. I just know that I need to develop some cab booking application. So they would do this. Big Bang means you give us money, you give us time, and we were just working without following any proper framework or proper process set or rules or skilled people. We are just experimenting, and let's see when the project finish, when we can finish the project. We are not serious. You give us money, you give us time, and we would just Big Bang this application without following any process, any SDLC culture, or any of the rest of the models. First, a group of 5, 6, or for most cases, Big Bang is not suitable for more than 2 people. If there are more than 2 people working on a project, then we will definitely require some framework, some process, or some disciplinary methods to keep track of all of those work, what is being done by these 3 or 4 or more people. So let's say we have developer A and developer B working on this application, and they have been provided enough of money and enough of time. Now they are working on this project, but as there are only 2 developers, there are no project managers, no module leads, and no designers, no other coders. They are the jack of the all trades. They are doing the all thing on their own. So this could take 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 1 year, 2 years. There is no certainty, a lot of uncertainty. So this is called Big Bang. Let's say if we have up to B, C, D, E, F, many people, then what happens when one or more people are unorganized, they're doing work in unorganized way, it is acceptable. But when a group of people, a team of people, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, then this would be a nightmare to handle a lot of unorganized people working together. There would be a big mess. So this is only suitable for not more than 2 people. And basically we have done Big Bang from our childhood and college times, because whatever the projects you have done in your academics, the experiment projects or learning projects, they were all Big Bang. You were working on your own, or your friend and you 2 or 3 guys who are working together to make a project for examination. These all come under Big Bang. Not suitable for enterprise projects, not suitable for a serious project, and not suitable for any financial or commercial project with the intention of earning money from that project, because the result of this thing, the Big Bang, is not always very good, and most of the cases the projects for 90 to 93% of cases, the project will be shut down in the middle. In case of academics, then it is very much mandatory to complete the project, but for commercial purposes and financial purposes, with the intention of making money, when following the Big Bang, it is very much obvious that you will not complete the project within time and you will leave it in the middle. So I don't like this model. Next is Agile. Agile is my favorite. because Agile says you don't need to care about all of these models. These all will just keep you moving round and round and round for the sake of making documentations and following all those lengthy process. We should be only concerned about the main project, what we want to achieve. We should be focused on our result. It should be result focused. The main thing what Agile is focusing on, that is the main project, the project itself, and the people who are working on the project, the relationship and collaboration uh, between them in the group, and the relationship of the company with the client. This is also the main thing. What happens for the rest of the other model is, when the client, some, we are human and we make mistakes, and for clients they are also human beings. What they do, they sometimes change their mind and they say to make some changes to the project. So what happens when working on the middle of the project, sometimes this uh, this is not that much desired thing. If the client calls and says change this thing or remove those thing or add this thing, so this would be a nightmare, and he will definitely get a bad behavior from the company side, which is not good for further business relationship. Will be spoiled. That's why Agile, it focuses on the consumer and company relationship. Consumer company relationship, it focuses on project, it focuses on collaboration, kicks out documentation, docs. Agile is more focused to its consumer. It says to the company that you should be taking care of your consumers first. A consumer is always right. If he tells you to change any of the features, adding any features, removing any features at any time, at any level of the project, this is the consumer company part. Project part is, rather than making all those BDDs, PDDs and SRAs all working, because the documentation itself takes a long time. When you are working on if you have ever tried to make a simple PPT, PowerPoint presentation, or Word document or PDF, you should have known that this would take much time. This is a lot more pain. So using Agile methodology, we are focusing on the project rather than the documentation. Fix out documentations. And collaboration means the actual relationship between the other people in the company. If you want to know about the Agile, what are the values of this methodology, what are the principles of this methodology, then go to agilemethodologies.org. That website will tell you what are the 4 values and what are the 12 principles. Those are very much important. And RAD is nothing but rapid application development, which could be applied to all of these models. Rapid application development, it means, let's say you have module A, which is responsible for fetching the consumer's location using the GPS device on his mobile. Let's say you are in Delhi, the consumer is in Delhi, and this module in his cab booking mobile application is taking his location, saying Delhi, using that GPS device. Now this has to be built sometime. someone has to make this module, develop this module. It takes some time. Let's say this take 3 weeks. And now, right now, we have another application which is a hotel booking application, which also needs this functionality, fetching the client's position using GPS. So this is our application, and we would simply import this module or include this module into this application. So this is rapid application development, where we are developing an application with minimal time, with in small very fast way, in very small time span. How this is being possible? Because we are importing some previously written module into that. If we are not doing that, then we have to write the similar module again, let's say B again, and this will take 3 weeks. So in order to save those 3 weeks and other financial resources also, because the developer who is working on this module will charge some money, and time will be taken. So in order to save those resources, we are importing this module into this application. So this is called rapid application development. And not only for this module, there would be also other functionalities which can be again achieved by some other module. Let's say module C. These are the main function of this module is to make the payment for the food or dish he ordered. This is the thing. And Agile says start with small and grow with time. It means let's implement only 2 or 3 features first, like incremental, and then keep adding things in the later time. But the main difference between iterative and agile, in iterative we also creating branches and adding things time by time, but agile also does that. But the main difference is that agile will be doing that in some disciplinary method, with discipline. Means let's say we are starting a project only using 2 features, and after 3 weeks we also sometimes call sprints. 3 weeks we will be adding another 2 features, and the thing goes on. Again after 3 weeks we will be adding another 2 features, and this thing keeps going. This is all about agile, and that could be applied to any of the methodology. AAD is adaptive application development, which is another part of the agile. Similar concept again. AAD means start adaptive. And you need to adapt as per the market changes, as per the requirement changes. You need to be responsive to the market changes. Agile also says that if you say you need to make a project, that cab booking application, but there are already lot of applications there or what are exactly doing the same thing. So if your application takes 1 year to be fully developed, then after completion of the 1 year, the market will be changed. It will be in different position, and the requirements and the market constraints will be also changed. So, and lot more other useful applications will be there also. This is also a factor. So instead of risking your money, your time, your resources, start with small, just add 2 features, and we will be adding rest of the features later. So this is what Agile says, AAD says, iterative also says. But iterative, there is no proper time span. Means the first 2 features are being added, then the next of the features they could be added, let's say they could be developed after two months or 3 months or 4 months. There is no certainty. But in agile says first make the discipline. If you are going to provide updates or maintenance or adding features after 2 weeks, then you have to continue in this manner. Every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, or every X amount of time span, you will have to keep adding the features, because the main advantage of agile, AAD, adaptive development, and iterative are: one is get time for funding, to get time to respond to market. That also means agility. Agile means someone or something which thinks fast and act also fast. His action is also fast, his thinking is also fast. So when the market is changing, market itself is agile. So if you are working with the market, you also need to be agile. You need to think fast, you need to keep changes fast. So this is all about agile. RAD means reusing software components. Module A, B, C, D, all of those modules are already written and uploaded in some kind of servers or repositories, you may say. And according to our technical design document, we are making the project. We need to find out what are the features required, and according to those requirements, we are instantly downloading those libraries and including in our application. Nothing else. This is that much simple. And this agile, what it does in agile, I was talking about time span. Agile is very much disciplined. It will tell you if you are providing updates every 2 weeks, then you need to maintain the time span. And if it is 2 weeks, let's say the first stage of development, we have successfully added 2 features, and again after the next 2 weeks, we are again going to provide at least. There is no proper framework for adding features, but there is time. Let's say I have been adding 2 features and release the thing or deploy that application to the server, and again after agile says you have to make the time span or sprint before you start the project. So it's not like before you start the project, it's like you need to maintain the time frame that every 2 months, every 3 months, or every 2 weeks, no matter what, I will be providing the features. If it's 2 features, if it is 3 features, at least I will be providing some. There are 3 versions in a software version. One is a patch number. The last one, when let's say this is the package or application, and the version is 1.4.2. It means this is the minor version. Sorry, this is the patch number. Patch number means this is only concerned. This is only related to patch fixes or improvement or performance improvements. When we are adding some security fixes or any of the removing bugs or any minor changes, very minor change, like removing a bug or adding a most little feature, the smallest unit of making change, that is the patch number when we are making some serious change like performance fix or adding few features, then this thing, then this is the minor version, this will be changed to 5, 4 will be 5, 2 will be 3, and this is a major version. Major version means the primary version. After what, if this becomes 2, it means the whole experience changes. If there were only 3 features, this would be 4 features. The user experience might be changed by because the user interface might be changed, so the experience. Similarly here I am providing every patch or every minor version. This starts from here actually, not we are actually changing this directly. First we will fix the performance issues, we would remove bugs, and this will be 2, they will become 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to 9. When this becomes 10, this will become 0 and this will become 5, 150. Again we would be incrementing this by adding minor changes, minor things, and this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and again this would be, when the time at that time this will become 10, that is not possible, this is maximum, this could be 9, and if it is 10, then this will be again 0 and this will be 6. Similarly, all these changes that I am making by adding features or performance fixes or making any updates, I need to follow a time span, like serials or any things that come after fixed time span. That is also called sprint. So let's say after 3 weeks, I will be again making some change to this project, either removing some feature or adding some feature or removing some bug or making the user experience better by changing user experience, adding few buttons or text fields. The version will be incremented starting from the patch number. So this is how Agile works. I hope you understood. If there is any doubt, feel free to contact me